We met in a visiting area at the Frontera Women's Prison in Corona. A small woman, Brenda Spencer strikes you as quiet, reserved, polite, and intelligent. She told me that on that Monday morning in 1979, she was hallucinating after a week of drinking whiskey and taking the powerful drug PCP, a drug she says she bought at school. What does she remember about that morning?
Do you remember the gun?
Mm-hmm. I remember the rifle because I had gotten that a month previous.
As a Christmas present?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was for Christmas.
From your father?
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember loading the gun? Do you remember pointing the gun?
Mm-hmm. I remember looking out and seeing like commando types sneaking up on the house and stuff, and I don't remember actually going in and getting the rifle and loading it up, but I remember seeing them and being real scared and terrified. You know, they're coming to get me, and I have to protect myself and stuff. And I know somewhere in there I did go and get the rifle.
So the whole thing to you, 14 years later, is just this drugged out haze, basically.
Yeah, it's really broken up and fragmented. I can't sit there and tell you, well, at this time I did this and at this time. You know, it's just little bits and pieces that have come back over the years. Like the week prior, that one, I don't really have many memories from that week ahead of the incident. And the week after, I was asleep. I was coming down off the street drugs, and even that week, I don't really have a whole lot of memories of it. It's like I slept a lot and I was going through withdrawals and things.
Brenda Spencer told me what she did that day was not first-degree murder, which takes planning, but the lesser crime of manslaughter.
I don't sit here and plan on how to go out and kill people and stuff like that. That's just not, that's not how I am or who I am. And how it was presented, and it made me look like that.
There were allegations that Brenda Spencer got the rifle, loaded it, planned all of this, and shot those people.
Yeah, and they made it look like, you know, just for the fun of it and stuff, which is totally senseless. There's, every day I live with, you know, the knowledge that I took the lives of two men, and that's real difficult.
Right now. How have you grown being in prison?
Well, I've had to kind of grow up and just matured a bit more, and I keep trying to better myself and deal with problems from the past and everything. So,
in what ways better yourself?
well, like through, I've gotten off the drugs and just trying to deal with the problems, family problems and things that I had, and basically just trying to grow up, actually.
When you do get out of prison, what are your hopes? What are your dreams for the future?
Basically, they're the same as, I guess, everybody's. I'd like to have a normal life. You know, I came in really, really young, so I don't really know what it's like out there, you know, and dealing with the world as an adult. And I'd like to go to school and get a job and possibly work with some kids or in a program or something.
Brenda Spencer never had a trial. She pleaded guilty to first-degree murder. Now she wants one.
During my court appearances, they left a lot of paperwork out that would have had a lot of bearing on my trial if they had brought it up. It would have changed a lot of things.
Such as?
Well, there's two sets of toxicology reports. The ones that went to court with me stated that I was on no drugs or alcohol. And then there's an independent lab test from the same blood samples that show I had blood alcohol levels and a lethal amount of drugs in my system, and that was never raised in court.
Including PCP?
There's no test right now for PCP, but the other drugs and the alcohol together on their own were a fatal dosage. If I had no drugs or alcohol in my system, then I'm just a cold-blooded killer, and that's not how I am. If I have drugs and alcohol in my system at the time, it's like it changes it from premeditated to manslaughter.
Okay, let's go back to that morning, that Monday morning. Had you been drinking all night? Just set it up for us.
No, I'd been drinking pretty much the whole week before that. Prior to that, I had missed school like the whole previous week. I was just, they call it here on a roll, you know, just using constantly and drinking. And so that whole week ahead of time it's pretty much a blur, you know. It's just one bottle of booze after another.
Where'd you get the PCP?
You buy it at school and on the streets. It was really, really common then on the streets.
Okay, you're on whiskey, PCP, then what happened? It's Monday morning.
You know, I have a very fragmented memory of the whole day. Mostly what I remember is what I've read in the police reports. And I couldn't take you step by step through the whole day, but I basically know what happened.
Through reading the police reports?
Through reading the reports and things. But it's still because I was so many drugs and stuff, and it's just really fragmented on what I remember.
I want to once again get back to the morning of the shooting.
It's real because I did it, you know, and I take responsibility for doing, you know, the crime itself. I remember up to a certain point clearly, and that was, I guess, when the drugs started to kick in, because all that morning I had been drinking and taking the pills with the whiskey and stuff. Past a certain point, it just all kind of phases out.
I can hear people out there saying that even though you were on drugs, you were cognizant because you took the rifle and you took aim and you shot those people.
Actually, I wasn't, though. I really wasn't. And in the transcripts, how it came up that the scope was set off and it wasn't firing right. The weapon itself wasn't even firing right. They had trouble aiming it, the police. And it was, you couldn't aim with it because of how the scope was. It was knocked off.
So the implications of that are?
What I can figure out is basically I was just shooting at the commando types that I saw, and I didn't realize that there was people back there behind that. I saw the commando types, coming after me that I was hallucinating on, and from what I can figure out from the reports and all that, I was shooting at them, and it didn't really dawn on me or sink in that, hey, there's people back there, that are real people and stuff. So it's not that I was aiming or taking deliberate aim. It was that they got hit because they were behind what I was seeing.
In listening to you, I don't understand something. You were suicidal, you were on drugs, yet your father gave you a .22 for Christmas. Why did he do that?
To this day, I don't understand that, because the counselors had all told him that I was suicidal. If I had a child and the counselors had told me that, there's no way that I would have given them a rifle or a gun or anything.
Brenda, what you're really remembered for is you saying, "I hate Mondays." Did you say, "I hate Mondays"?
I don't remember saying that. Right now we're trying to get some evidence that I did say that. I'd like to hear the tape. And it really influenced how people saw me, and and thought about, you know, the whole case, it's just, I'd like to know that I actually did say that if I did.
If you said that, it makes you sound cold-blooded.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you know, on PCP, you're liable to say anything.
Brenda, what I have read is you have no remorse about all of this, but I sit here and you're filled with remorse.
Well, it's not something that you just do and don't think about. You think about it constantly. You know, you're the cause of people's dying, and I really don't want to cause them any more pain. I hope that they're all doing okay, that they're all, you know, that I haven't scarred them for life, that they're able to deal with what happened and get on, you know, move on, and that I haven't done any permanent damage, you know, psychologically and stuff to them. You know, I hope that they're able to continue on and live a good life and have a good life. Because I'm really not a cold-blooded killer.
The hit song written about the day the bullets started flying portrays Brenda Spencer as a young woman with ice flowing through her veins. But now she wants a trial after pleading guilty years ago. She wants out of prison.
Why should Brenda Spencer be let out of prison?
Basically, for a second chance. Everyone changes. Everyone changes, and I feel that everyone deserves a second chance. You know, I blew it the first time, you know. I wasn't going where I needed to go and getting the help I needed to get. And I would like a chance out there to lead a normal life.
At the time of the shooting, Brenda Spencer says she was on the powerful drug PCP.
We were not aware of any PCP use in terms of around the time of the offense.
Brenda Spencer's attorney was Michael McGlynn.
Brenda did have a abnormal brainwave. She was diagnosed as being epileptic, and we believed that the reason for what occurred was more of a result of her being in a disassociated state than any kind of intoxication defense or illegal drug usage.
Looking at those pictures years ago, you did look like a zombie. And that was because of?
The drugs, the street drugs that I used, and then after I was in custody, all the stuff that they were giving me, it was, you know, you just follow orders.
Brenda Spencer claims reports were falsified during her legal process, leading to her plea bargain to 25 years to life, first-degree murder.
It's an outrageous statement.
I think it's nonsense, to put it politely.
The prosecutor in the case, Charles Patrick.
Here you have a 16-year-old kid who, granted, was maybe not the best adjusted kid in the world, to all of a sudden, for no good reason of any kind, to start blasting away at totally innocent school children, just, you know, leaves you flabbergasted. That's all I can say. It was just the utter senselessness of it.
Principal Burton Ragg was gunned down by Brenda Spencer, his widow, Kathy.
And as far as I'm concerned, she should never be let out.
And that was, I guess, when the drugs started to kick in, because all that morning I had been drinking and taking the pills with the